Today is about actually coming together as a group of people of multi-generations on country, sharing culture, all cultures that sit in the circle, and deeply feeling that connection with one another. And that will enlighten, evoke things we don't know in the children. You know, this is literally work that is so important to everybody that we meet that I can't rest in this at all.
I'm Lynda Salvo, founder and CEO of Explorers Early Learning. So at Explorers, we're always wanting to innovate and learn, and we had the opportunity to get Kerry O'Neill as our thinker in residence, and Kerry's job is just to challenge me all the time and to give me ideas, and together we're always collaborating. Kerry said, Lynda, have a think about land, have a think about what we can do with children on land, and would you buy a farm? I said, yeah, no problem, let's have a look at it. So I went to my son James, who helps me out.
She said they're looking at doing a farm program for the kids. I saw this one come up. I thought, oh, it's good. It's got access to sort of main roads, so it's accessible for the other children. It's near the centre of Somerville.
I think it was a couple of weeks later, he found this location, and Kerry, James and I, we all came out here, we walked the land, we walked around, and we just felt straight away, first site we looked at, it just felt really special for us. The first thing we did was we invited Jen Reid from Urban Discovery. You know, it's been amazing. We've been bringing children here already, and when they get here, they don't know what to do sometimes because they're not used to exploring. They get entertained a lot. And once we leave them and just let them sit here, it's amazing how they start discovering and exploring and finding how to connect with the land.
We go at every project with an understanding of what is the Indigenous condition of this land, what is the story of culture to traditional owners, and having a look at the established ecosystem. So there's an ephemeral lake that just comes and goes on the property, and seeing the duck and the frogs and the things that exist as we are, and using that to inform our design.
Were they bubble bonks or were they frogs? We don't know yet.
I've actually asked the children to try and go on a journey to identify what that sound is.
Hopefully we can hear it again today.
With the engagement of what I call a children's village, where we have loose paths, we have activations of hut building and use of the natural landscape in children's play, I think that we start to see some of those curriculum identifiables like engineering, mathematics, literacy, problem solving, leadership, those sorts of things come through naturally with children when they have a space like this to play in and things to move and dig.
So we've got some species identification that's going to occur through here with our traditional owners. There'll be tussock grasses in here that we can make flour out of. So we'll be producing bush food and traditional food, and then we'll be bringing in more plantings around the grinding of tussock grass to make flour.
For me, it's listening to land a bit and seeing what's here and what we want to bring here as well. So hearing the birds, seeing some tree hollows, seeing what the landscape's doing to then inform how we enhance that.
When I look at this area here, the equestrian area, I get excited that we could have really robust play and digging and boulders and clambering, so a parkour kind of place, but somewhere where there's a big pulley system that I can fill up this giant bucket with logs and send them to my mate who's building the cubby down the other end.
Oh, wow.
And that it never gets packed up. There's not an adult-centric requirement to keep tidy.
This is a really special place, right? So as soon as I came up the driveway in here and I came up onto this deck and looked out, my natural imagining is going to, what are the stories and connections that are going to come from this place? And the reinvigoration of this land and how that's going to be told through the children's learning and the connections and relationships that they have with the land and with their educators and the peers and how all of those lines move across. I had a conversation with a child that was about something that he created with some loose parts that we brought here today. And so using those loose parts as well as some of the natural loose parts of the land, there were all these sort of structural engineering sort of capacities that were taking place and his lines of thinking and where that was going. And then a moment later we were having a discussion around a photograph of a digging patch from a place that we designed some time ago, and he said, is that here? That needs to come here. We have to have that here. And I said, it's not here yet, but we're developing all of these ideas. I want to hear what those are. He said, it needs to come here. We need to be able to dig and do that.
My hope for Somerville is that it's just an amazing place for children and educators to really thrive and just be happy to be at Explorers.
It would be really cool to see this as a complete bushland in, like 4 or 5 years to come, and seeing species that hadn't been in this area for a while as well, and then just hearing all the stories and connections that the children have made from being on the land.
This is a community hub, and if we can restore land in the right, respectful way, we don't know where those relationships can build in the wider world out into society.
One thing at Explorers is we have a Reggio Emilia philosophy, and this philosophy is really embedded with us. We see the environment as a third teacher, and I see Somerville as a teacher for the children. And what we're hoping to do is when the children are coming here, they're playing in the land and they're bringing these ideas back to their centres. We will start section by section, and as we watch the children, talk to the children, what do you want to see here? That will keep evolving this project. And I'm hoping the children that come here, they will have embedded love of nature. And as they grow up, they may not remember it was Somerville, but they will love stopping, they love listening, they love silence and learning. And I'm hoping that we can really teach children how to love nature.
We want our children to be invested in their own journey, invested in their own families, to seek curiosity and wisdom, and being on country and finding a duck feather and understanding what it's come from and what does that duck eat, and being able to build a hut where I might cook my own tea, builds that innate.
It's a real honour bringing this to the children. I feel honoured to bring this land and this wisdom to the children and the educators here.